very quick rotation as fast as they can, pushing through the middle of the field. But where do they go from here? And a nasty tire burnout from King. Well played from Orangutan, handing that off on the side. As they assault the position, you're right about them holding on to these spots, but the rest of the backers coming in through thick and fast, but a good
They want another piece of the pie, and in they go. 4 players alive on side. They push on up, and 3 players now in action on the inside. They get the res for Thundertalk, and they get the heal off as well. This is going to be crucial, and Xavier may have a shot. R8, though, storm the gates. They are not going to allow Thundertalk out the back here with a Molotov, forcing them to stay around, and a second knock, a third. R8, a tidal wave of force rolling on into the compound.
Yeah, this is a weird time to third party. You're not really third party, you're just entering the fray here. Warzone now available for R8, but plenty of points to pick up, a total of 5 here if they're able to make it happen. Paragin should find the Murray. The rest of R8 were not there to respond. Bit of inaction there, in my opinion. Playing on both warehouse doors, 2 and 2. There's no one really ready to refrag him as he went for that nade. It's a good play from Paragin.
Xavier, it looked like they were on the ropes. They had 1 player knocked on the outside, a full force R8 to deal with, but gets caught on a tire and
hide the borders to third party them. But not only that, they clear a massive amount of it fairly well. I think the only mistake there is that Amari pushes out solo, but even then, I think he thought he was covered by the smoke, and it is just a smart play from Paragin to just push the smoke, which most of the time is a bad idea.
How are they? FGS just moved as 4 through about 9 teams just there and got through fairly unscathed. Massive confusion tactics as they move out in a straight line, swerving left and right, and nobody seems to be able to understand what's going on. Least of all me. They've managed to make it to third. Felt like Mad Bulls should have had massive broadside on them, but it just was not to be. Kara, they take a knock, but not going to be flushed just yet. Alpha 7 want to descend on the position, though. Look at that forward pressure. Moving in for Obscure, playing close, and Marceau goes down. Lewis up on high, trapped out in the blue, and Kara have nothing to say about it. This is a brilliant little piece by Alpha 7, picking up a nice little opening for themselves on that eastern side, though, they, for now, being the operative word.
I mean, it's closer towards the center. It's closer towards the center, at least. Yep.
Mad Bulls playing this 2-2 position. They've had it for a while. They couldn't really control too much on the rotate. Certainly not from GS, and now Alpha 7 going to try and move around it. Tulika sprays towards them, but again, just not connecting, not even taking shots anymore. But Pusher, the same story. They're waiting for the back 2, but they're not even taking shots there. Maybe this is how GS were able to get on through it. There's just no shots coming out from the Mad Bulls. It might be an ammo issue, to be fair. Looking at those numbers, maybe that's what they're looking for. A little bit of ammo conservation. As Alpha Gaming, yeah, they're immediately pushed off that beachhead.
A little bit of space to breathe. They are having to drop down quite a few smokes to make the rest of the cross. Squeeze out, making sure to remain vigilant.
Wolves still holding that little ridge line. Higgles, really an important feature of their hold right now. The only thing that's stopping the arena fully overwhelming this position. Them and DRX, to be fair, from the north, a potential third party on the road crossing, but they're establishing their smoke lines. This, though, is the opportunity for Wolves to bring Doran back to his feet. If they can get back to us what remains of R8, which is prestige, and the Mad Bulls, who seem to be completely reluctant to take shots at anyone. So perhaps easier than they thought it would be. A knock sent over towards Coops, though, and there's that trade-off. The arena still making this fight navigable.
Patton has to push that. Like, he has no choice but to push that. Sadly, now down to just high goals off on the backside. I don't really know what Patton's game plan was there. He's just running backwards and forwards. That is to hope that High Goals is able to hold out players peaking. We'll just be holding the high ground. 3 players for them, GS underneath. Still pretty incredible. GS are able to get here. But a fantastic game from Alpha 7, I'd say. Playing slowly from that northwest side. VP were taken out a little bit earlier, but RA still have profited massively of this game. Immediate shot from Revo over towards Pusher. Kulika straight down. and more nades been sent over the top. That nade was so on target as well. Very unfortunate, doesn't take down Flip. Luckily, there's another angle from the side, from Obscure. This is a fantastic hold from Alpha 7. You love to see it.
I mean, they're playing with the barest of scraps, but they are making one hell of a broth right now. They'll have the chicken to it in a bit. That's what they hope anyway. GS moving on up through DRS as well, and it looks like there's no retribution just yet. The hop through, again, not working with the DBS, but it is going to be the drop down, turn the corner. It's going to work out. Jafar, though, we've seen him anchor these positions before for GS. Last man standing. He did it against APG. Can he do it again here? A long-range shot. Real hopeful with the DBS on that one, but puts it back behind the corner, and Arena are going to be a third party to it. Jafar still, though, moving up. Elbow, but maybe overexposed now as teams across the way. They'll get his sightlines. That woolly hat looks mighty tasty as a point, but he's got more to say. You've got to imagine that this is going to be done and dusted, but he finds a nade. Will fall, though, to Mormon's answer. An R8 down, but in fourth place with 6 elims. Blank, it's again
a lot of these games, but again, it's hard to say. I mean, this playstyle does technically work. If they're able to pull this off at an international level, there's nowhere where I can say that, you know, hiding will only get you so far for so long. It's like they're already doing it at an international level, so you gotta give them praise for that. But it's definitely not going to get you at first place.
No,
I give them that. This one, the side does find a little bit of damage there. Good shot from Kriov in the distance towards WizGod. Again, you're exposing yourself towards the beachhead on that jump up. I think this is exactly why E-Arena's playing down this position. This should be a textbook Alpha 7 win, though. And one that couldn't have come sooner. I think for Brazilian fans, this is a very, very good way for Alpha 7 to save face after what had been a couple of pretty upsetting games.
This is hopefully. I've got a shot onto this one, and the nades aren't quite connecting. The nades are still coming out for him. He's like a mortar turret there in the grass, but it's only a matter of time before he gets spotted. Orangutan, though, in the meantime, getting put through the mincer. Having a real tough time. Their backline's cut down to 2. The heal comes out, but Alpha 7, they're faltering a bit on their 3-man push here. Not quite as effective as maybe they would have liked. They do hold a lot of ground. That is their major asset right now, Blank, but it is all pushing, and that is not the way to do it. One knock found, a second needed, necessary to take down Orangutan right here and now, but they're not going down without a fight.
They absolutely need to keep 3 players up, otherwise this happens with E-Arena. They immediately reposition. The reason they were taking the fights on towards that high ground, though, is specifically so they could dominate over towards E-Arena later on, but I think that initial knock has been a little bit worrisome. I still think Alpha 7 has a strong chance to finish this one out strong, though.
Yeah, with just Sakura now remaining. Numbers still firmly in the favor of the Brazilians now. As Guizal moves out, Sakura takes some shots, but there's an answer from the side window. The lean out shows him the shoulder, and it is a cold one. Alpha 7 put them to sleep.
It's just funny how that's again GS benefiting from this northern shift on the circle. Ziol currently getting chased down by Paragin. Likely going to lock him in position for quite some time here, but Paragin decides he's just going to send out. Look if he can find himself a weapon. Play from there. Doc's able to find himself a vehicle, but Ziol's got to get in quick. It comes the
east side of Yasnaya. That's where they dropped, and they have managed to move over those Stalber foothills and over towards the western side here. Arena making a move across the bridge instead, and Loxy gets clocked. There's no
teams in the world when it comes to having no points, because equally tomorrow they could have 70.
Oh, Alpha 7 really struggling on the roll-up. They've just been taken down. As we see the south side rotate, DRX, they managed to get rid of Virtus Pro. And they move over towards the Wolves, and a good knock on towards Coops in the backstop position as well. That's not going to be particularly flushable as Thundertalk try and cross the road, and Ulf try and cross the road, and Thundertalk deny them entry there and get a knock over towards Geeke. This fight seems to be a little bit of a stalemate between these two teams, despite the number of nades and Molotovs being sent between the two positions. DRX have taken a lot of damage, though, and they're going to have a real real tough time rolling out. Doran for the spray down onto Soaz as he breaks on through. That crash line is good, and it's going to be held. Coops goes down 1 for 1. Hyunbin follows. QX set up on the hillside needs to come up big now because he's the last player to stand. The inside getting torn apart. Nobody's alive in the shack. The points are there for the taking, but nobody's ready to do it. A sliver of health on the high ground as well as DRX last hope now trying to keep things going, but Soulless bombards the position time and time again, stopping the Wolves from flexing out, and then it's going to allow the heal on the high ground.
Damn, well played, Eagles. Actually able to make it happen. Hold down the fort for the time being. Yeah, this is where life gets very difficult for Thunder Talks, as I was talking about earlier. You know, the circle being on GK's side, it's just going to make their life so much easier now. For Thunder Talks, even pushing far over towards the north, yeah, you can get behind that lip on the very northeast, but even then you have to deal with GS. So we'll see how Thunder Talks plays on out. Either they push north or they expend a lot of utility here in the next 5 minutes. Bulls as well as EA, this fight has been raging on for quite a while. Unfortunately for them, Bulls and Wolves, Egos goes down, so despite his valiant deed
From the off angle, as the spray down is good, Mad Bulls making their way closer and closer. The last player from DX Xavier, Levi's not getting stuck into that one, doesn't want to give the game away just yet. Let Thunder Talk go for the crossing first and try and ladder up on the placements, because GK have to hold.
I mean, it's a good time for Thunder Talks to do it. I mean, wrapping all the way around the building, trying to get to the side that doesn't have many windows. Unfortunately for you, this building has all the windows. Nate goes through, Kevin goes down, there's Saf out as well. Ragnarok last left inside the building. The Vikings are looking to decimate against Ragnarok itself, but Nerzed's still in the fight.
Oh, he's able to stand up though. Ragnarok still with a little dying hope here for GK. Able to find a knock. Thunder Talk suffering on this crossing, sitting. Needs to get rezzed here. The player on the back as well needs to try and stay alive, stay safe. And Ragnarok, yes, are suffering, caught in the crossfire. The fact that it's not unlikely that they go down before Levi's now for DX Xavier is crazy. And Thunder Talk aren't doing too well either. Goodness me. This is getting mad.
Jafar's on the edge of the blue right now, does go down. Icon's able to get DS3 back up again. But overall, for Thunder Talks, it's still not a terrible game. I think they'd rather end up in the top 4. Sighting getting picked up at the same time, so they should get themselves back up towards the 3. And a wraparound from King here over towards the Mad Bulls. Sort of has to wait for a team shot here, honestly. That's a long nade. That's a very long nade.
They're trading nades here, and now actually Mad Bulls are flowing around and over towards the Wolves, who have been doing so much damage to GS in the meantime. The Mad Bulls looking to keep this one under control. All things considered, this is their game, but Levi's moving up to the tree now. Spots a player, he gives the position away. Now the Mad Bulls are going to know he's here. They're going to know there's danger on the flank, and they are going to put some ordnance out his way. You can see the nades already cooking, and Flip gets taken down because of it. Pusher Low gets taken down as well. No way are the Mad Bulls crumbling under the face of Levi's. Thunder Talk may be able to take this one away. My God, this is getting crazy now. I mean, it was crazy before, but what? My God, what a close down.
They're to the top, towards the top side of the bunker there. There's a little bit of chip damage, but not quite enough. Wolves are now out, so the bunker is completely clean. Singh moves around the side, but the blue is pushing. Tulika has to wrap around the eastern side of the bunker, but Levi's is there, getting up towards the top 2, potentially, if he could just take Tulika out. But Sighting is on the hunt.
And they will be able to find him now. The last player for the Mad Bulls is there, and Thunder Talk want that top spot for themselves. They crest the ridgeline and they contest that first place towards the end of the day.
I think that's a long time, honestly. I chill out. Let's all just have a little chill out.
So just to clarify what Blank said, he said orangutan towards Alpha 7 here.
I think if you get a crash over towards Alpha 7, there is a potential that you're able to get something done here and slowly make the push on the east, but this is a really tough push up towards Longhouse.
Ooh. Feels like Milky Way may have wanted to go a bit further, but actually drops short, uses the car as cover, nades now. The opening salvo for Virtus Pro. A lot of damage done towards them, and that nade nearly takes him down. Luckily, the health ticking back up keeps him going. And Malloy for Virtus.pro is not here with them, still moving out around, moving up to the ladder D to create the edge. But in the meantime, the rest of his team rides on in. Revo tries to hold the corridor, looks for the shutdowns, but it's not working. None of them can find a shot. Malloy was here to play, but
Still 7 elims on the game. Pretty damn good stuff. 32 points total.
that's how you want to do it. A little elimination refocus there for OG. Now they have to push in against DXavier. This is a really difficult bunker to hold, though, because nades do so much against you. You can see, okay. I'm surprised that one didn't tag on. A little bit of cover found somewhere. Some concrete outcrop helping them out. Still got a couple of nades to play with. Doc on the off angle. Looks like OG know about it, though. They are wary of the angle. Nobody really on that south flank other than him to find it. And the shots are connecting. But Wizcott is looking good to try and find the knock. The knock repositions. Oh, he steps back into the spray line and nearly goes down because of it.
Wizgod going to send straight back up again. Knows he needs to pull the pin on the grenade now because he has to keep DXavier at bay. Another strong grenade over the top. Lambor last remaining alive inside of this bunker. And now they look further towards Levi's. But again, more reses coming through. They see Mad Bulls off in the distance. OG looking for even more on this game. Up to the top 4 now.
Mad Bulls are the bigger threat for OG right now, but he's just launching an aid over to Levi's, doesn't connect there. Some cover still found. That is a crazy push, you're right, but somehow goes unpunished. Mad Bulls more preoccupied with getting those reses. There's 3 players still alive here. The Molotov sent to the sky for Aru. Trying to slow any pushes. The nades continue to roll over the top. That looks like it sits under him. No, it's not going to go off in time and won't be able to connect either. Somehow DXavier surviving these nades, everything being put their way. They're stepping out, they're moving.
They're just keep them at bay, though. This is the big thing right now for OG, is that as long as they can keep DXavier stuck inside these tunnels, it makes their end game a lot easier. They just need to control RA on the sidelines, but you just hope they don't put too much attention here. If they get that done, now they know they need to move in. This is a good setup of vehicles from DXavier. There's a player behind, hidden away, looking for the flush. Wizgod goes down now. AKOP needs to find Paragin, who's been holding a cheeky angle for so long, and Levi's will finish a sneaky maneuver.
Oh, you just never expect it. That is so brutal for OG. Paragin makes it work, and now DXavier have time to... No, they're not going to get that third player up. Okay, they didn't go for that res. The play zone was pushing. It is this last stage, and Mad Bulls now with an option to maybe take a chicken dinner here on our first Miramar. Levi's the last stand, and it will be the Mad Bulls to take it away. Disaster strategy held. They would have easily transitioned from there.
Puerto Paradiso is where this plane path will end. This is actually one of the hardest plane paths to deal with in the entirety of Miramar. If it goes even further south than this, it's just hell to play around with, because you have to cover so much space over towards the north side that a lot of times you're struggling for vehicles where those spawns, those drops are taken by.
Impala drops looking a bit dangerous, though. I think better go back to the rest of your team, mate. Puerto Paradiso to go to. But no, he wants to get stuck in. In the meantime, Orangutan scrapping it out over in Chumacera. At the moment, they found Rufus. I think that's the only player in that location as well. Going to be difficult to get this one back up for Alpha Gaming. And a nice little pickup. Keep that ball rolling for OG. They are currently in 4th place. I think it goes on, we'll put it that way. As we said, towards the middle of the day somewhere. Can't remember exactly where. I'm expecting that bubble on 7th place to be around 110 points. Could be a little bit more, a little bit less. So getting up to 40 points will give you 120 points on average. And that's where you're going to start to see yourself nice and safe. So the further you go over that metric, the better. But at the moment, Alpha Gaming, they want to get off of last place, I think is really the name of the game for them right now. Because it is not where they want to be, and losing a player early.
This team in general, just because they change so often. I mean, overall, today's game well today, and I think that it's a sad. Wow, that is a very nice. Olian fans getting angry at me because suddenly they have 80 points, because that could easily happen.
Yeah, that's true. For the moment, they're definitely not getting 80 points. They're down to 2 players now, Top and Ziol, isolated from one another. And it looks like OG are sort of aware of where these players start and where they drop. Spots Ziol on the ridgeline. Blizzcod, nah, he doesn't want to take that fight. The rest of his team's got it under control. Tanky, ooh, not so strong this time on the flick. Ziol may actually get the flush there, but is actually going to be able to pick up a buggy because of it. This is going to be a get out of jail card for him. Blizzcod decided just not to take the fight.
Yeah, I mean, he actually delivered in the taxi. I think it's an annoying maneuver for OG right there. I think you have to assume that he's going to take the vehicle though once it
Loads of points.
Yeah, just lock it down. Really good teammates.
Got to try really hard.
Get those wins. That's what I'm talking about. Again, is the difference between OG's interview with AKOP and that interview with Tulika, which is a generalization game. You know, I much prefer to hear the real thoughts. But I suppose, you know, being able to play with your friends on a massive international scale is probably quite fun. West of the tournament, just because I'm not feeling it right now. I really am not feeling it. And I think that tomorrow there's potential at like a 22-point game for them. But even then, it's not enough. Sitting the team down from Regdom Carrier. What a play that was. The 180 flick. Dear me.
Well, man, with the pump action, doing so much on the inside, and now Loxy has to turn around or run away. Tail between the legs, Rectum Kaya said dizzy by the pump action. That is crazy. That's a bit of mistiming from Rectum Kaya, it has to be said, though. Allowing that to happen, you need to step in at the same time, take those angles together.
Yeah, I mean, incredible stuff. I mean, a quick fling in the concrete, smooth sighting. Went poorly. No second date for Rex. The gun is consistently getting nerfed, but still seems to be able to one-shot.
I mean, Ulf had 11 elims and 1 placement, which is why they're losing the tiebreaker right now. But if they get 1 more point, they just win it again. APG got 1 point out of their fight. In the meantime, GS and DRX up on great for DRX. They're not happy about that one, but they're happy that they can survive for a moment longer. ESO, though, wants to change that. Is the DBS going to find the range? Not quite chewing through him as he wants it to, as 4 players...
I mean, great, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm glad to see the DBS not come through once again. Much like DRX right now. As Virtus Pro continue to bully this team. Starting to flow over towards the top side. Voston finding 1. Milky Way is down, but Aragon, Malloy, and Moston are still up and available and could look to clean out this. Jafar is just sprayed. He is... I mean, you say that, but Alpha 7 kind of won PMWC purely off Miramar.
Okay, well, there's always exceptions. If you're getting 30 points every Miramar, sure. The arena seems to be getting 30 points.
But yeah, anyway, we'll carry on. We'll have a discussion of another day.
Thunder Talk making it real difficult for the arena right now. They are down to...
It's possible in the slowest vehicle available. Is that what we were trying to accomplish there? Interesting. Thunder Talk with one of the few compounds available. That is a very, very different...
CEO looking to heal before the move. They don't have a lot of time because the zone's going to start to close in 3 seconds. Poser's ankles have been spotted. He's dodging out the way and he's sprayed out. They aren't quite connecting with it in any sense. When they go out wide, a lot of ammo already expended on the spray down towards the player behind the buggy, and they're up close. They haven't been knocked yet, but there's still time. Levi's down first, but there's the trade from Nate. 1 for 1. The Wolves move in as well. Marceau moving into the high ground on the off angle. Just Paragin on the inside, but the burn is on. It's Coops to do the damage, though, as the Wolves claim the lion's share of the points here.
I mean, Wolves just getting a lot done off the back of this, but Kara, 7 elims on the game up towards a top 3. That is a really big result for them. Not quite the chicken dinner that maybe they were hoping for, but it's still very, very good. Thunder Talk looking for the second chicken dinner of the day. The Chinese team who came in today looking fantastically strong with some very good coordination, now looking to drop down a shower of thunder upon the Wolves. Who's now lacking on those smoke canisters. Kara taking damage. CEO last left alive, a little bit of damage done, but Wolves now stay alive with all 4 players. Nasty nade on the outbreak from Thundertalk. Hoops goes down, and now a 4v2.
A reality check from the top of the hill as Thundertalk able to find 2 almost immediately. Sighting now in the smoke, running around. Here's Higgles on the off angle, looks to give them a good fight, but no, Thundertalk too much as the Wolves fall at the final hurdle. They can't keep it going, and it will be another chicken dinner found for the team from the PEL.
All made it in. You might see some of these teams face back up against our top 7 squads here at the top. So again, it's interesting the way this works, because we'll go back over towards groups where things might be a little bit less intense, very intense portion of the tournament into a little bit more relaxed.